Hey everybody, it's JWittz here from the Pokemon Trading Card Game Show Profit, and today's card of the day is another modified one from Unleashed, and that card is Manaphy. Now, Manaphy is a really under-talked card. I mentioned him just briefly in my How to Build a Heart Gold Soul Silver On deck episode, right when we were rotating a Heart Gold Soul Silver On, and it's definitely an inferior card to the popular one, Cleffa. Now, let's take a look at the two different cards. Now, Manaphy's Deep Sea Swirl for 1 energy lets you shuffle your hand back into your deck and then draw 5 cards. Cleffa's Eek for 0 energy lets you do the same thing, but you draw 6 and you also flip a coin for sleep. If you flip tails, Cleffa can prevent all damage done to him. Now, I guess you could say that this could be an advantage or disadvantage that Cleffa gets to flip, but one thing's for sure. Having to attach that energy on Manaphy is a big drawback compared to using Cleffa. Let's say you have a bad hand with no energy in it. You can just play Collector, find your way into a Cleffa, and get that new 6-card hand right away. However, as many people have noticed in this upcoming National Championship, a lot of games are being decided on the first turn by my first card of the day when I brought this series back together, Tyrogue. So we kind of have a strange cycle. A lot of Cleffa is played, so a lot of Tyrogue is played. Now, to be reactive to that, I'm guessing that a lot of Manaphy is going to be played. A few big players actually decided to play Manaphy at the National Championships. One of them being Kyle Sukovich, who got 2nd place at the event. Personally, I played one too, and I thought it was alright. The thing that stinks is attaching that energy though. Let's say you start with something with 1 retreat cost off the bat, like a Magnemite or a Zorua or a Tepig or anything like that. You can't attach, retreat, and then attach to Manaphy and shuffle. You gotta wait a whole extra turn, so you have to start with something with free retreat. Luckily, a lot of decks run a free retreat Pokemon in Yanma from Triumphant, so it's not the worst, but it's definitely no Cleffa. However, if you want one card to help shore up your inconsistencies in your deck without having to sacrifice that turn 1 loss to Tyrogue without even getting to draw a card, then I highly recommend you run 1 Manaphy or 2 Manaphys instead of the Cleffas that you have been running. It's interesting to note how the metagame keeps changing, and all of a sudden Cleffa's just an unsafe play. I highly recommend Manaphy in an event like Nationals or Worlds, where 1 loss can really set you back, and in the future, it's probably going to be the play. As long as Tyrogue's played, you can lose that game in the very first turn running Cleffa, if it's your only basic, and that is starting to become a pretty big risk. A lot of big-name players, including our 2-time world champion, Jason Klaczynski, lost to a Tyrogue donk up to 3 times in his whole tournament at Nationals, so that is something to think about. All in all, though, Manaphy is a worse card than Cleffa, and as far as playability goes, I'll give it a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10. It's really not a great card, but if you look at the format, the amount of risks that there are, and the amount of draw that there is, it's the best that you've got as far as making that safe play. Now, there are other alternatives which I may talk about in the future, such as Stantler, but for now, I like Manaphy the best. I recommend that you try it in your deck instead of Cleffa, and while it could be a little more inconsistent, you at least won't have to risk that dog. As far as artwork goes, it's pretty good. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. The waves around it are really cool. It's a holographic card. The artwork in Unleashed is pretty good, and it's just an all-around good-looking card. Thanks a lot for watching today's card of the day, and tune in tomorrow for our last modified card of the day of the week. Peace!
You want the best tricks? I suggest you profit. You want a mess spread? I suggest you drop it.
Once we started rolling, you know you can't stop it. Let's go and get some lessons from JWittz and Profit. Yeah!